Welcome friends to another r/idontworkherelady video. Let's celebrate not having to work here by hitting the like and subscribe buttons down below. That said, our first story of the day is by Shaplumbo. I'm not a Walmart employee. A few months ago, I made a regular trip to Walmart to check for some collectibles. Insert grown man buying toys. I'm standing in the aisle dressed in black jeans, chain wallet, black t-shirt with quote, "I dump your butt" from Stranger Things, and messy hair in a top knot. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice an older woman creeping by with an empty cart. Thought not much of it. Until she came back moments later, I hear a faint, "Excuse me, could you point me out to your puzzle section, please?" I respond with sure, yeah. I'm not too sure where they are exactly, but they've got to be down here somewhere. And we start walking the direction she initially went towards. Soon enough, we come upon the puzzles. She thanks me and we exchange smiles, and I go back to the toys. A few minutes later, I'm at a separate display of what I'm looking for when she comes up behind me and asks, "Could you help me again? There's a puzzle up top that I don't think I have yet and I want to check." I let out a slight chuckle and a "sure" as I walk back. She follows and goes, "Yeah, it's up top above the display. I see you've got a ladder right here. I just appreciate being able to take a quick look at it." I unchain the ladder from the shelving frame and set it up in front of the puzzles, climb all the way up and grab the puzzle she pointed out. "Yep, I don't have that one, I'll take it." "Wow, there's lots up there. Wish you guys would bring those down so people like me could reach them." I just laugh and reply with, "You know what? You're right, they really should." She thanks me again as I put the ladder back and chain it up. Went back to buying toys. Good times. This actually makes me wonder, what is the etiquette on using the ladders that they leave around? If there were no employees around to be found, but there was a ladder and you needed something from up top, would you use the ladder? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by Kzala. An idiot almost pays me off. Due to online transactions for mobile applications increasing in my country, a lot of small vendors also use these applications. I also use this at a cigarette shop. From where I am, I can get a single cigarette at a time without having to buy the box. I was smoking the cigarette while sitting in a shaded area by the shop, when a not-so-bright person walks up and the following conversation ensues. The not-so-bright person says, "Can I get an insert cigarette brand and type?" I ignore it at first. They angrily then say, "Can I get an insert cigarette brand and type?" I say, "No, I don't work here. I'm just smoking the cigarette that I just bought." The not-so-bright person then goes to the shop owners, buys a cigarette, and after he's done smoking, comes back towards to me. They say, "How much do I owe you?" I say, "Huh?" They say, "For the cigarette." I say, "I don't work here. Go ask the shop owner." They ask, "What's the mobile number?" I say, "Huh?" They say, "So I can use the application to send you the money." I contemplate if I want free money. The shopkeeper was looking and laughing his butt off. He then calls the man to him and tells him to use the QR code to pay. I looked at the shopkeeper and said, "He could have given me free money. Why'd you ask him to come to you?" By the end, the man paid and left, and me and the shopkeeper had a good laugh before I had to go back to work. Honestly, this sounds futuristic compared to the way things have been around my area. Then again, I guess I don't go around buying too much stuff, at least in person. All I know is if I was in that guy's situation, I wouldn't dare ask anybody that seemed anything less than a surefire employee what the mobile number is to pay for anything. This next story is by Abominable Bloop. "That's not my job, ma'am." This happened 2 years back before the pandemic struck, and I had no more reason to shop for new clothes since I'm at home most of the time. For context, it was Christmas season with less than a week before the date. It was nearing the end of my 11th year, and I was with my friend looking for new casual outfits for the year-end party that our school held annually. It was lunch break and we were walking around the mall located directly in front of our school. We were both wearing black pants, black leather shoes, and yellow collared shirts, since our school decided to color code the students according to their departments. The staff inside the mall were wearing tailored shirts and skirts, so the situation I went through was even more baffling. We decided to first look at the shoe aisle since there were less people there, and my friend wanted to wear new shoes during the party. I noticed that there was a group of older women, maybe in their early to late 30s, in the middle of the store, whom, despite the hustle and bustle, were by far the nosiest there. For some reason, the moment I looked at them, a woman who was taller than me, I was small even for our country standards, and had this audacious pair of eyebrows matched with an even more offending lipstick shade, was eyeing me. Let's call her Karen. My guts told me that it wasn't going to end well with her, and so I avoided further eye contact and just continued shopping. It was about 15 minutes later when I finally found the dress that I wanted that I hear the group of women saying things along the lines of, "It's so messy in here. Shouldn't this be a mall? There's clothes everywhere. No one's even here to assist people. Some of the staff are just standing around." For the record, it was a fairly small store, and since it was that time of year, the staff were awfully busy. There was a tsunami of people, so it's no question the place had clothes lying around. The place was normally very tidy though. I just continued to ignore them and proceeded to kneel down to the floor and search the lower racks for accessories. No more than a minute later, loud stomping headed my way, followed by a sharp tap, almost a slap, on my shoulder. And there she goes, Karen in her glowering stance above me. Without even letting me ask what her problem was, she bombarded me with her questions and accusations. "I've been calling out your attention for a while now, but you were ignoring me. How thick of a skin must you have? Look at this place, it's a mess. How could anyone find what they're looking for? Shouldn't you be assisting the customers and folding the clothes they choose from and putting them back to where they got them?" I had to bite my lip to stop myself from questioning her sanity. There were at least 40 customers at the store at that time. How could she expect to see staff waiting for every single one of them? My friend who was in the aisle behind me was watching this all unfold. After more than a minute of her yapping, I slowly and clearly said, "Ma'am, that is not my job. I don't work here." She then interjected saying, "That's impossible. You look just like them." I wanted to capture that moment when she looked at the cashier, which was about 5 aisles away, and realized that we were wearing different uniforms. She backed off without apologizing and stormed off to her companions. Needless to say, she was a bit embarrassed. I was really out of myself at that moment, and my friend and I just decided to get out of the store because, honestly, people were looking and I didn't want the attention. I forgot to get my stuff and my friend just paid for hers. As soon as I got home, I told my mom about it and we rushed back to the store to buy the dress that I found. Kudos to my mom. Is it weird that I find OP being able to find the items that they previously liked and getting those to be more satisfying than when the Karen got embarrassed outright? It's great that this loud, noisy, complaining Karen was able to get embarrassed like that, but I'm just glad that this situation, when it affected OP, in the end was able to get rectified by being able to come back for the stuff they liked. Our next story is by Jupiter Jungle. My sister is a hero. I was with my sister at a large store several years ago. I was thinking it was Walmart, but it may have been Target. First off, my sister is a sweetheart, one of the most loving people you will ever meet. She loves everyone. If you're a good person and do good things, she'll appreciate you. She doesn't curse or raise her voice ever. However, she also doesn't like or appreciate people mistreating others or injustices. She always speaks out. We were in line, it was a busy night, and we were several people back. In true sister fashion, she remembered things after we were in line and sent me to go get them. I ran to get them, and upon my return, I heard the tail end of a heated discussion, which led to everyone clapping and my sister standing at the front of the line, angrily glaring at this one guy 3 people back. If I remember correctly, we were 5 people back, so 2 people behind him. Apparently while I was gone, the cashier had to price check something and was taking a bit longer. The cashier was a very sweet young man that had Down syndrome. I don't think it was the cashier's fault things were slow. It was a busy spurt, meaning the store wasn't that busy, but quite a few people hit the registers all at the same time. And according to my sister, it was a series of events that caused things to slow down on our register. Anyway, the man 3 customers back was super upset that things were taking slow and decided his time was more important than being a decent human being. He angrily muttered things under his breath that my sister refused to repeat. Then after the second price check started yelling, "Come on, you've got to be kidding me. Can we get a real employee to check us out? Get this R word out of here." According to the woman in front of him, that was when my sister had enough. She left her cart in line and marched over to the employee and stood next to him behind the conveyor belt. She looked at the employee and told him, "You're perfect and don't let mean people try to tell you otherwise." Then she glared at the man raising her voice to be heard since he was still yelling and now at her. "He doesn't need any other reason to be slow." I assume he was cursing too, but my sister doesn't curse, and when I was told what I missed, it was by my sister and the older woman. We were in our 20s, I assume the older woman was mid-40s. That was in front of that mean dude. Anyway, she stared daggers into the man and bluntly told him, "How dare you talk to someone like that? No one deserves to be talked to like that. Also, I abhor the word you used, but the only one acting like that is you." The man said something about how my sister can't talk to him like that, he's a customer, to which my sister told him, "I don't work here. And I don't know him. What I do know is you have a poor attitude and should think about how you talk to people, as you don't want to be that guy." She air quoted that for emphasis. I could hear the "I don't work here" as I came back and ended up running past everyone, seeing my sister still standing by the employee with her hand on his back. I ran past everyone and stood at the end of the conveyor belt, mostly because I wanted to be in between the man and my sister. Everyone started clapping by this point, and we were all staring at him. Some guy that was behind us was cheering on my sister and calling things out like, "Dude, don't be a jerk, just shut up." No one moved or said anything else, so my sister continued. "Well, as I see it, you have two choices. You can leave and go somewhere else, or shut your mouth." At this point, a manager came up and stood next to me, looking around the entire line. Everyone was dead quiet, waiting to see what the man wanted to do. "Is everything okay here?" he asked slowly. My sister answered, "This man here was verbally abusing your employee." The manager looked pissed, but the guy was already properly shamed for his attitude, looking down, not saying anything. My sister looked at the employee, asking him if he was okay or if he needed a break. The manager was a little slow, but backed up the break, even offered to take over for his lane. The employee said that he wanted one, but wanted to clear the lane first. My sister refused to leave his side. I refused to move. I wanted to stay between the angry guy and my sister. The manager stood next to me and took over bagging, though he told the rest of the people in the line that the other register was now open. A few people went. After we finished paying, the employee came around and gave her the biggest hug and thanked her. He had tears in his eyes. He said that it happened often, and that was the first time anybody had ever stood up for him. He also explained this was why he rarely helps on register unless it's late night. My sister told him to always remember, if people are mean, it wasn't his fault or his problem, it's their problem. After that, he left to go on break, while the older woman stayed to talk to us and offered to buy our items. My sister refused the offer but happily talked to her while they filled me in. The manager came out a few minutes later and gave us coupons and a gift card. She took the coupons but asked if he would give the gift card to the employee. Honestly, I'm surprised the angry man stayed and checked out. I hope he thinks about how he talks to people in the future. I think in most situations like this, it's really that person's true colors coming out when they say stuff like that. Because I feel like it's very rare to have bad enough parents that they would openly encourage calling other people stuff like that. To me, it feels like if you're going to grow up, become an adult, and call other people things like that, knowing full well they have no control over that, knowing that they've had a lifelong disability. It's something that person consciously grew up and thinks, or was low enough of a person to stoop to just to try to upset this person. And our final story of the day is by Ipu. Black plain t-shirt and black basketball shorts equals Target employee? I'll keep it short. I was at Target with a couple of friends and they were trying to look for an employee so they could get a PS5 game. I went off on my own to also look for an employee so we could maximize our chances of finding someone to help us get the game so we could leave as we were starving. I passed by the electronics sections counter and an older gentleman grabbed my arm and this is what happened. He says, "I need help with a TV." I looked down at my clothes to see if I resembled a Target employee and say, "Does it look like I have a red shirt on?" He says, "You're an employee here. I saw you help that other guy." I say, "I didn't help anyone. Don't freaking touch me." He says, "I'm getting a manager and getting you fired." I say, "I don't give a crap." At this point, I just wanted to get out of Target to get some food. I was not in the mood to play nice. Well, in all fairness, I feel like if anybody's walking around in any store and they get grabbed by the arm and demanded to do something, chances are most of those people would not be in the mood to play nice. If some old dude grabbed my arm and was like, "You need to help me do this thing," I'd be like, "The heck I do. Beat it, old man." But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So of all these stories I've read today, which is your favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, if you could like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. Whatever you do, whether it's liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, all of it helps grow this channel and I appreciate the heck out of it. So until next time, I'll see you all tomorrow with some more stories.